So it's nearing the end of March, which means that the Milky Way, the galactic core of the Milky Way, is coming up for us here in Nova Scotia. So I'm planning to shoot that tomorrow morning because the clouds look clear. The moon should be out of the way. So my first destination is going to be Milford on Vinegar Hill to shoot that isolated tree, which I scouted out earlier.
My intention is to shoot the Milky Way here, and I didn't know if you could actually do it. And it's kind of lining up pretty good because I think that's general southish.
So we'll shoot into some apps. We'll just check it on Google Maps and Stellarium just to make sure the alignment should be good still. But yeah, so we'll dive in there, and I got all my stuff charging. So tomorrow morning.
So in Stellarium, we can jump through time, so we can kind of see where the Milky Way is going to be at what time. So we can advance here, and it's going to come up around 3:30ish in the morning to the southeast, and then it'll lead into a sunrise. In the clip from last year, I was looking east. This is the tree here on Google Maps, and I want a southeast view. So this is the best location to shoot from, right here out in the corner. I have everything charged or charging, ready to go. It makes getting out of bed easier. It's about a 40-minute drive, so I'm going to set the alarm for 3 in the morning.
So it's just after 3, just hitting the highway. Be about 35-ish minutes. The skies look clear. It's a little colder than I would have thought, but -5. See when we get there. So when it's really dark, obviously I can't see the tree out there because it's just black. It can take a really short exposure, so 2 seconds, and just crank the ISO to the highest it will go. And that will allow you to find your subject. So obviously that's way off, and now I'm centering the tree, and then I'm good to go. So way shorter period of time. So I'm running my first Milky Way shot with the move, shoot, move tracker going. It's going to be about 2 minutes, f1.8, ISO 200, and I'm using my 50mm. Because the tree's a little off in the distance, the 20 is just going to make it too small, just to kind of get in there. So I'll probably roll the 50, get that done, and then put on my 85 to see, and that might be a little too tight, but we'll see. First Milky Way shot of the year. So 85 is too tight. So you can see the Milky Way kind of just crossing up there on the 85. So I did put on 20mm. It is a little wide, but I might just crop in a little bit to kind of get a nice frame in.
I love this image. I use the same settings as with the 50mm. I think this lens captures the sky better than the 50mm. Though the tree is small, still makes a nice subject. It'd be even better if the patch to the right was gone. The glow to the right is the light pollution from Halifax.
But what I think I'm going to do now is just go down the hill and see if I can get the farm as a subject and have the Milky Way behind the farm. But what I really need to do is figure out who owns this field and get permission to go onto the field. It's frozen solid. It wouldn't affect the crop or anything like that. Then I could get the exact framing I want and then also get much closer to the subject. But we'll see if that happens at any point. But that'd be ideal, I think. Well, let's see if we can get that berm to line up. So there wasn't a safe spot to pull the car off on the side of the road. It's right on that turn on kind of both directions, and the road's a little narrow, so I'm just gonna park back where I was and walking down, which is unfortunate because it was nice having the car there because it is still pretty chilly. Well, the framing is really nice. Got the highlights from the burn that might actually help. So I'll have to kind of figure out how I'm going to roll with that, but at least the Milky Way kind of lines up almost perfectly with it. So I'll get my foreground shot now.
Two-second timer, 2-minute exposure.
With a 20mm now. It just stood up, and that's the moon coming up over the hill. I wonder how that aligns with the tree. I'm gonna have to run back up there. Mad dash. I got camera equipment everywhere now. Gotta sort all that out. So I'm tidied up, back in the warmth of the car. It's nicer to shoot the Milky Way in the summer when it's, for the most part, warm during the nights versus what it is now. It's still -5 up on top of the hill here. It's a little bit windy too, but yeah. So the moon would have probably came right up through the tree. I was down at the bottom of the hill, so when I saw it crescent, it was kind of already decently high in the sky. I went to shoot it, and obviously the moon's going to be super bright, so I was taking longer exposures for the foreground, and the idea was to kind of make a blend if it was going to work. It kind of looks like the sun with the longer exposure for the foreground. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I think it's really neat, but it's probably a wean-in moon now. There's maybe like an eighth of it, but in the long exposure it looks like a ball, but it's not like completely overexposed. So I'll fire it up here if I like it. If not, I'll just cut this out. But yeah, I thought it was pretty neat.
Again, this is the moon. It was over a 1-minute exposure, and you can see the star trails. I did remove those in post, but then you get this, and it looks more like the sun. So I think I like it. The star trails in makes it known that it's the moon.
So it's about 6 in the morning now. Sunrise is at 7. So I'll chill for a little bit. There's a little bit of a glow on the horizon, but we'll wait a little bit for the sun to pop up and see if I can get some compositions with the tree for the sunrise. There's no clouds, so it's going to be a little bit different than the last time I was here, but we'll see what we come away with. Open it. So there's a nice glow on the horizon. You can even see the tree now. So I did take some other shots with the moon a little bit higher with some of these colors. It's still about 30 minutes away. How's that view for the morning? So just shooting straight on, right in at 120, and then all the way out to 24, and a couple in between, just for framing wise, but very minimalist. Straight on. This is probably the best view for like the shape of the tree, but and then I'm low so that the distractions out here aren't. There's the hills in behind, and I kind of just want the tree. So the sun hasn't popped up yet, but I would imagine we're only minutes away.
This image was taken just before the sun crested over the horizon.
So the sun's up now. I snapped a few shots kind of with the sun a little bit lower, kind of in below that branch. And then the battery died. The long exposure is the cold. So we'll call it here. I'll go collect my time lapse I had running, see if that turned out at all. A good morning shoot for sure. So it's supposed to snow tonight. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm gonna have to see who owns this property and reach out to them. I think it'll be worthwhile. Cheers.